which is one of the, if not the greatest country on the earth. I think anyone of sound mind would agree that this is the United States of America, without a doubt. That is my opinion, and my is an informed opinion. That is the United States of America. Nobody wants to go to, I don't know, Russia. Nobody wants to pack up and go to China. Nobody wants to pack up and go to, I don't know, Europe somewhere, maybe, unless for a weekend or something like that. Regardless of the fame, the family background you come from, the cash you have, the type of person you have, the popularity that you have on your homeland, it's going to be like a drop on the sand. It's simply going to be like a grain of sand in the ocean. Nobody's going to notice you until, that is, you come to the United States, or you are mentioned in the United States. This is not a secret. This is not bullcrap. Like I said, everybody wants to come to America. Sometimes you're going to hear some people that live in the U.S. complain, "Oh, U.S. sucks. This country's going to trash." But you never see those people packing up their bags and going to Russia or going to China. If those countries are that great, okay. If the fact is that the U.S., for example, is the only country that give the most money to all the nations, okay. Of course, we give most of it to Israel, but we give a lot of money to the entire world, more than almost everybody combined. The United States gives money. This, however, doesn't come just like that. This comes with some strings attached. That means that we could get to determine some of the path that those nations that accept money from us take, including the type of government that they have, including who do they do business with, even including allowing us to come in and set up whatever operations we want to set up at those countries, okay? The fact is that these countries, which is most of them, are easily corrupted. The people running those countries, not the people themselves, but the people in charge, are very easily corrupted. And the U.S. exploits this by giving these people money and having them sell their countries to us, or to a company within us that petitions our people in Congress to go out or send somebody out to those countries and take over, for example, their economies. An example of this is maybe like Chiquita Banana, like the United Fruits Company, for example, did in Central and South America, where they destroyed all the crops that were naturally part of this regions and replaced it with one season at a time type products, okay, and disallowing the people in these countries, in these economies, to participate in the economies of these countries, forcing them to go out of business. Those countries that do not allow this to happen are, you know, they are taken down, okay, and replaced with a government that is friendly to these United States companies. And this is something that we have seen throughout history, and not just here, but throughout the Middle East and Asia, Africa, everywhere, corrupted as hell, easily corrupted. So the people there have to demand accountability from their leaders, okay, stand up to them if they don't want to allow the U.S. to come over. They cannot say crap. They cannot say, "Oh, the United States is here. They're taking over our stuff." They don't know what lays behind. But again, nobody wants to leave this country, even though sometimes they say whatever they say is only to get a rise out of people, to have something to say, to write a book, to have an appearance on a news channel for a couple of minutes and just say whatever. But like I said from the beginning, these people do not pack up their bags and gather the family and go to China, for example. If they think it's so great, go to China. They don't go to China because here it is one of the best places to live at this time in the world. And this goes from any at all level, an actress, an actor, if you are an athlete, if you are a writer of any kind, if you are an inventor, this is the place that you want to do business with. This is where you want to set up your operations on. Sometimes, for example, companies, US companies or US based companies, not necessarily US companies, exploit or take advantage of poor labor law on foreign countries. But this is not our fault. This is once again, the fault of corrupted countries throughout the world that allow this to happen, that sell their soul for a couple of dollars to allow their people to be enslaved by US based companies, okay, that go and send their labor there for cheap and then come back and sell it for a profit. One thing also that comes to mind is that when people think about the United States, they think, oh, that is just here in North America. There are a lot of companies, a lot of people with lots of money that live all over the world, but who have their investments in the United States, that call their shots from their yacht somewhere in the Mediterranean Sea, for example, okay? From the North Pole, or from the sky, wherever they spend their time. So it's not something that's happening in Washington. It's something that's happened throughout the world by those people that run large businesses and have large political influence in our government. Okay, but still, our government is not as corrupted as the rest of the world is. And even with the recent event of our previous president, Donald Trump, he was charged, he was ridiculed, he was charged, and even though he was not convicted, it's because here in the US, you have to be proven guilty. You charging me with a crime does not necessarily means that I am going to do time. And even, for example, if I am found innocent, it doesn't mean, for example, that I did not commit that crime. It's just that you have to prove that that crime was committed. And the charges against President Trump were not sufficient to charge him with a crime that he committed. And he did commit a lot of crimes. This is a person that all he does is commit crimes, him and his family and all those people surround him. But here in the United States, even then, if you have the influence, if you pull the right strings, if you put your mind into it, if you have money, if you have the backing up of people, you could be anything you want. This is not the case in other countries. This is really the case. Like if on other countries, if you are a farmer, you're going to stay a farmer the rest of your life. If you are low class, you're going to stay low class for the rest of your life, regardless of what you do. That's not the case here. If you could be from a mountain in Guatemala, for example, come in here, dedicate yourself, get a loan, whatever you do, go to school, get your doctor's license. All of a sudden, you open up a clinic and you are a practicing doctor in the United States. Something that cannot be done in Colombia, in freaking Brazil or Mexico. That doesn't exist. That only happens here. And again, there's a lot of corruption here. This is not a perfect country because it's full of imperfect people, and perfection is just an ideal. It's not something that one achieved. But the people, again, that are U.S. residents, that U.S. citizens that live in the United States, do not represent sometimes those that are seen on world events, for example, on wars or taking over or coup d'etat, for example. Is not representative of our view. Most of us, this is not the way we are. This is not the way we operate. And I hope people watching this video, maybe from an international vantage point from other country, can realize that what they see on TV or what they hear on the news, whatever, this is not representative of the United States citizens. This is only a few people that have vested interest on going abroad and taking what belongs to other countries at all means necessary. But again, this is not the opinion of the population here. But again, this is the greatest country in the world. If you can make it here legally, following the law, Make sure that you don't break the law. There is a process of getting into this country, just like there is a process of getting into your country, I'm sure. And if you break that law, if you come here illegally, you automatically break the law. You are a criminal, and therefore you're not going to be welcomed with open arms. Okay, once you commit a crime, then you are a criminal. It doesn't mean that later on you cannot. It doesn't mean that you cannot reform and do great for yourself, but you will always have that shadow on you. People coming here from other countries, claiming being abused or being persecuted or whatever, we have always welcomed certain people. Not all life have the same value. If it's, for example, a 2-year-old from the Dominican Republic that got lost in the ocean, the international community is not going to give him a second thought. If this is like a white kid or English kid or primarily a Jewish kid, they're going to dry the ocean. They're going to suck the ocean dry to find this person. Okay, and this is not like anti-Semitic or racist or something like that. This is a fact. If 200 Palestinians died, is a bunch of terrorists got killed. If one Jewish people get their knees scraped, is a terrorist attack, and we must kill 200,000 of them. Okay, this is the way it is. This is what I'm saying, and this is not only saying it against facing Palestinians and Jewish. This is just the way they are. I started with my country, the Dominican Republic. You don't count. Most people do not count. 90+% of people do not count. Like, we could all disappear, and it's not a big deal. But if one of the 1% group gets injured, then, like I said, those people in charge will suck the ocean dry to try to find that person, because it is of the right kind, of the right blood type, and those are the ones that count. The rest do not count. Digressing back a little bit on the migration caravan that coming from, I don't know, north and south, east and west. This is again goes back to the U.S. Being allowed by most countries in the world to meddle in their businesses. Okay, this country, these corrupt countries, allow the United States to come over, topple their government, place a government that is under the foot of U.S. And then take over their economies. Okay, destroy it and make them buy the products from an American company that now owns their agriculture and mining, and all the resources are taken away. Okay, so when you see this caravans of people coming in, a lot of them are legitimate. They're under threat. They whatever. A lot of them are not. They're just hanging on to it and coming along with the flow. But the fact is, undeniably, that have the United States left those economies, those countries alone, did not meddle in their affair, in their economics, in their political systems, leave them alone, then we would not have to worry that much about all those peoples now coming in looking for a place to live. It is aching as if I go into my neighbor's house and destroyed everything. Okay, cut his electricity, prevent him from go outside and purchase grocery, blow up his car, block water into his house, or make him buy it from me. So his kids eventually, because I blew up their house and I destroyed them, I destroyed his family. The two kids that were left unharmed, they probably just going to jump over my fence, however they can, and try to come by and see if they could get something from my yard. So this is what happens in a nutshell with most of those countries. We allow, because we are afraid of the C word and the S word. I am not going to even say what the S or C word stand for, but those are two letters that are feared in the United States. Most of us do not know what they are, do not know how those political system works, but we do not like them, and we destroy any country that claims to be of that political, philosophical inclination when it comes to running their countries. Okay. Also, if they do not allow the U.S. to meddle in, they are going to have a couple of bombs coming in. Their government is going to be replaced. The economy is going to be destroyed. So, from looking from the U.S. outward, because I did what I did, for example, I represent the United States. Because I did what I did in your country, I destroyed you. However, either 100 years ago, I destroyed your economy. I make, for example, certain pineapples not grow there anymore unless you buy seeds from me that produce a one-season pineapple, and then you have to buy from me again, and you have to sell it only to the people I allow you to sell it, and you only allowed to sell it at the price I set, okay, using my currency. You're not allowed to sell it to anybody else, or you have a war coming. Okay, because of this, now the United States cannot turn away those people seeking refuge in our borders, into our country now. But again, this doesn't mean that that those people in the caravans have a legitimate case. Some people are just there because they are looking for any opportunity to come in here, because they hear that in here they get free money, they get free living, they get free food, they get everything free. They don't have to do anything, and for the most part, it is true. There's a lot of freebies given around here, especially to white people. White people here get the most free stuff than anybody else. Okay, not the blacks, not the Hispanics, not the Chinese, not the Japanese, nobody else. The white people here get the most freebies. So those people that complain about welfare and all that stuff, they themselves live out of welfare. Most people are in the Midwest and Southwest, all those country people that border Republican, they all depend on Social Security. Okay, also it's a socialist program like Social Security. But if you tell them that they are socialists, they'll shoot you. Okay, but I digress. Again, this is the greatest country in the world thus far. And I'm sure I'm going to have some comments below, but that is fine. That you could say whatever you want, maybe to get a right set of people, like most do. But you have to recognize that the United States is not perfect, but thus far is the one that's closest to what a true civilized nation is for, both in terms, economic terms, social terms, political terms, international help, a term. We have it all: freedom of religion, freedom of expression, all kinds of stuff. You cannot do this in any other country or you get killed. In here, you could say anything about anybody. Like I said, you could take the president to trial and call him name and call him stupid and create a mockery, create a dummy of it in the park and shoot him or hang him. You're not going to go to jail. Your family is not going to disappear. In other countries, your family disappear or you disappear, or the program that sponsors you is going to disappear. So this is why this is the greatest country in the world. This is where everybody wants to come. So I hope this starts a conversation, and I don't know, like laid a fire under your behind to go against what I am saying, or wake up, and you can defend yourself when you hear somebody talking bad about the United States, or talking too good about the United States. You also know the dark side that we have throughout history. And again, the United States is not perfect. The people here are not perfect. We just feel of imperfect people from the beginning. So I'm going to leave this video here. Let me know what you think. All right, thanks for watching.